Hi Stampers, it's Cheryl O'Brien, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator from Australia. I would just like to share with you a beautiful card using these two wonderful stamp sets, Very for Sales and Positive Thoughts. I received this beautiful card from my upline Pam Jorgensen and I absolutely loved it, but I'd had in my mind that I would just like to go and do the very old technique of faux linen, which is just this background here, which just adds a little bit of texture to your card. So I'd just like to share with you today how to do that. So I'll go through with what we're going to use. We're going to use these two stamps and this beautiful die set, which is the Nature Thoughts dies, which goes with Positive Thoughts. So we'll be cutting out our different images with this set. And I'll just go through our colours we're going to use. We're going to use Sahara Sand for the base of our card, our Berry Bliss and our Whisper White. And the tissue paper, you can get this anywhere, like they come out of your boxes of shoes when you buy a new box of shoes, or you buy clothing they wrap in tissue paper. So just save your tissue paper. It can be white, blue, pink, whatever is around. So you don't really have to go and buy that. You'll just gather it up as you go. So I'll just set them aside. I'm just going to let you know what else we're going to use. We're going to use this beautiful 1/4 inch white, Whisper White ribbon. We're going to use a bit of our silver twine that is actually going out, so that's a little bit sad. We're going to use some vellum pieces, so these are just cut out with our dies, and we're just adding a little bit of bling as well, which is our silver foil and our glimmer papers. So we'll get started. So our base card is 5 3/4 by 5 3/4 by 8 1/4 inches. I'll just fold that now. So that's just a normal base card of your A4. And then our layer piecing is 5 1/2 by 4 inches, so that just layers directly on top. And our insert is exactly the same, so it's 5 1/2 by 4 1/2, so that'll go on the inside. And our second layer, where we're going to do our faux linen, is 5 1/4 by 3 3/4. So we'll work on that piece to start off with. Just put those out of the road. So we're just going to bring in our tissue paper and we're going to stamp on it. So I'm just going to put that down here and bring in our lovely script stamp and Sahara Sand ink. So I'm just going to ink up and just randomly stamp. So that's that. So we'll just set that aside just to give it a couple of minutes for the ink to dry, and we'll stamp up all the other images that we need. So we need our wording. So I'm using Sahara Sand with that, and it says always thinking of you, but all I'm going to use is thinking of you in this one. I'm just going to hand cut that out. So that's that. And we're going to use Blackberry Bliss. Going to ink up. Going to do a full colour of the flower. I'm just going to stamp off and then stamp again, because we're going to cut this little bit out. So our dies fits around our flower here, and this little one just is going to cut out the middle section. And last of all, we're going to stamp up our leaves, our Maidenhair Fern. So I'm just using basic grey, just going to stamp 1 and 2. So all our dies will cut around these perfectly. So I have actually done all the cutting out. So you don't have to watch me cut out. So these just fit perfectly around the die. And you just run them through whatever die cutting machine you have. So the dies just fit around the images beautifully. And I've cut all those out. So now I'm going to bring back our piece of tissue paper that we've stamped on. So all we're going to do now that it's dry, we're just going to screw it all up. We want all those little creases in there. And when we open it out, we don't want to make it really smooth. We want to leave those creases there. So we bring our Whisper White cardstock in, and we're just going to use the larger end of our Tombow, and we're just going to put glue all over our cardstock. You don't have to use heaps and heaps, just spread it around. Great idea to use your silicone mat because it is a little bit messy. So I'm just going to put that over the top and put it down. So we want to get those crinkles in there, so don't smooth it out. We want to add texture to the background. Like so. So all I do, you can cut it right off at the edge if you like with your cutter, but I just diagonally cut the corners. I'm going to flip that over because I've got glue. And I'm going to bring our Tombow back in, and I'm just going to fold over the edges. You can smooth these ones out a little bit because no one's going to see them. You do get glue on your fingers a bit because the paper's so thin. So how good does that look? Just bring it up a little bit so you can see. So I'm just going to move this out of the way because it's got a bit of glue on now, and bring in our card. So I'm just going to layer it up onto our Berry Bliss, Blackberry Bliss. And onto our card. Stuck to my fingers. And we'll do the insert in a moment. So now we're just going to get our pieces. Use the pick tool to get them over here. It's a great little tool. So I'm just gluing the fern flat down onto the card. Like so. And this piece, I'm actually going to cut off a bit of the fern because I don't want it quite as long. So I'm just going to ditch that bit. And bring this down here. Then I'm just going to add in a few of these embellishments. Little our vellum little feathers. And I might add a glimmer one down to this side. Now you just want to work out where your flower is. You want to be able to cover up all that in the middle, so that's going okay. So now our ribbon, all you do is you get your ribbon, cut off a piece, and you just fold it like so. And a great idea is you can use any stapler. This is our Stampin' Up stapler, but it is retired now, so any little stapler, and I just staple it in the middle, and that just makes it a lot easier for you to handle. And I just use a tiny little bit of tear and tape just to hold it across in the middle here. And then just lift that up. I just find the tear and tape is nice and strong, so I just want a piece of ribbon across here. And then we're going to layer up the flower. So I've pre-cut the flower out, so you all know how to cut out dies. Just using a few Stampin' Dimensionals. Just put this one on. And just this little centerpiece. So when you see really closely, you can see these little bits that actually stick up, so it gives a little bit of dimension as well. And then you can add your last little bits. Just shows you where you need something else a little bit glimmery. Just going to stick that one in there. And this little one. In here. So the words I've just freehand cut out, so as I said, I was taking away the always, because then you can use this as a sympathy card as well. And I've just put dimensionals on the back. Take those off and put this one down the side. I was actually going to add a bit of this twine. I'm not sure whether I can fit it in now. We'll just have a go. I'll get a glue dot here. Just like to get a glue dot to stick that together, because it runs away this thread. And then I just fold it over, get it all stuck in. And I might be able to just lift the flower a little and just add a little bit more. Ideally, you put this on before the flower. And that just adds a little bit more bling. So now I'm just going to stamp the insert. So I've decided to do just the maiden hair. And I'm just going to stamp once and stamp off. And what I do on the inside of the card, I usually do on the envelope. So just stamp. And that just makes the envelope a little bit more interesting, and people get a bit more excited about when they're receiving a card in the mail. Just open the card up, add a bit of glue. And there's your card. So have a go at that faux linen. It is so easy, and it just adds just so much dimension to the back of the card. So I'll just put them both down there for you to see, and just see how pretty that they are. So thanks for watching, and I'll be back to see you sometime soon. Thanks very much. Bye.